with Malik Robinson and C.J. Ray. The forwards are Daniel Zanzapin and Dallas Cox. For the Loyola Ramblers, a little bit of a different look, and the reason is Xavier Amos is now healthy and in the lineup. The Wisconsin transfer making his Rambler debut, and it is good to have him on the floor for this one today. And so Chicago State starts with the basketball, and an immediate foul against Loyola.
That one against Justin Moore. Not ideal to pick up your first foul just seconds into the game, but I think he'll be just fine.
So Justin Moore picking up his first. The redshirt junior, who Kate mentioned, has played really well of late. A couple of 21-point games in the wins against Central Michigan and Princeton. C.J. Ray, the first shot of the game, and the rebound to Amos for Loyola.
Both of these teams love to play slow. They're amongst the bottom of all of college basketball in terms of pace of play. So this could be just a very slow, grinded out game offensively for both sides.
Moore throwing it cross court to Amos. Trying to get into the paint against the double team, and a jump ball is called. Good defense by Chicago State. Let's take a look at the keys to the game, Kate, for Chicago State.
Yeah, for Chicago State, crash the offensive boards. That's where they generate a lot of their offense. They're not efficient enough from the field to beat you without getting second chance points. And then playing at their own pace. I just mentioned how slow they play. Don't let Loyola speed them up. Swing the ball, work to get good possessions on offense.
Justin Moore will pull up for a three at the end of the shot clock. No. Rebounded by Chicago State. Zanzapin will send it over to Tankersley. And now the Cougars back on offense as we take a look at the keys to the game for the Ramblers.
Yeah, value the basketball. Single-digit turnovers in their last two games. No coincidence that they won both of those, and then finished defensive possessions. They're going to have to be in their stance deep into the shot clock on most of these possessions.
Kay Dotson on the wing for three. That won't fall. Rebounded by Kamani Winsu. And now Dotson thought about another three, but passes it up there. Takes it here. And that's too strong in the rebound to the 5'11 freshman Malik Robinson for Chicago State. Chicago State, as we mentioned, coming in 1-9 on the season, but their strength of schedule is 19th in the non-conference, according to Ken Pomeroy. So, yes, their record isn't what they would like it to be, and certainly it has caused frustration for Landon Bussey, but Chicago State's played a lot of really good teams so far.
And the hope is that, yeah, a lot of these are guaranteed games, but the hope is that you get better because of these. You learn some toughness early on in the season, and you're able to bring that into conference play and be more competitive once you get into conference play because of all the tough matchups that you've already faced.
Cougars were picked to finish 6th of 10 in the Northeast Conference, their second year in the NEC. Dallas Cox, the miss, and an offensive rebound for C.J. Ray against Chuck Love. Love comes into the game as Amos goes out, getting his first few minutes with the Ramblers. And that is a rainbow that misses from Tankersley out of bounds. It'll be Rambler ball.
Tankersley is a player, though, that head coach Landon Bussey loves. He brought him over from Alcorn State, and so he knows exactly what Bussey wants in terms of how to operate the offense, what he's expecting on defense, and Bussey said he's just one of the hardest workers day in and day out.
Landon Bussey coming over from Alcorn State, as Kate mentioned, and he is someone who has very high expectations for his team. And certainly their non-conference schedule has provided them no favors, but frustrated with how this start of the season has gone, trying to turn Chicago State around. Ramblers have certainly had their frustration in the early going with a 3-7 record. Missed there from Winsu for three. And now the Ramblers get it back as Chicago State was tiptoeing along the baseline with Dallas Cox. And now a whistle.
Couple players going down there, looked a little scary. Watch them going up here for the rebound, and everyone just kind of gets tied up. Two Chicago State players colliding between each other.
Yeah, Cox was trying to get over Robinson, which he did, but then in the process of doing so, seems to have injured his leg, and he's going to go to the bench.
You can tell, however, that Chicago State does have an emphasis on rebounding the basketball and defensive intensity. And in our call with Coach Bussey earlier this week, that was something that he was hammering home with his players, was effort on the defensive side of the ball.
So C.J. Delancey, the senior from Jonesboro, Arkansas, will check in, one of 4 returners for the Cougars. Five seconds to shoot for the Ramblers. Dotson sent out near half court. Winsue along the baseline, never got it to the rim. That's a shot clock violation against Loyola.
I mean, that was a great pick and roll up top, but you need Dotson to get the ball inside a little bit quicker.
And a nice job defensively by Chicago State, pressuring Dotson all the way out near half court. Have to make a quick decision, and now Chicago State back down the floor. We got a pitcher's duel. No points yet in the first 3 minutes of the game.
I mean, both of these teams, let's be real, have not been the most efficient on offense, but someone needs to attack the basket. Here we go. We get a little attack there. And try and get to the free throw line at this point.
C.J. Ray may very well do that. Foul against the Ramblers. Kamani Winsue picks up his second foul here in the first 3.5 minutes of the game. So he's going to go to the bench. That is a significant foul against Loyola. Winsue been battling that leg injury, but plays key minutes for Loyola. And now a trap in the corner. It's out of bounds. It'll stay with Chicago State.
And that's also significant in the sense that Chicago State is going to crash those offensive boards. You need those big bodies in there to rebound and bang down low and not allow second chance opportunities for the Cougars.
But you mentioned it, that Landon Bussey wants his team to get 17 offensive rebounds per game. Loyola has really struggled so far this season against teams that are aggressive, crashing the offensive glass. 5 to shoot now. In the corner, Tankersley, an awkward-looking 3, and that went over the rim, never touched it, so shot clock violation against Chicago State. And another scoreless inning pitched by Loyola.
Tankersley, I mean, he is one of the best offensive players for the Cougars, but he does kind of have a funky-looking shot. That was the second 3 we've seen him take, and his release isn't exactly Steph Curry-esque.
Came into today 2 out of 10 from 3. He's now 0 for 2 so far. Tankersley is known as a slasher to the basket, so neither one of those shots what he wants to take. Ola Joseph now in the wing for 3. The lid remains on the basket. And Tankersley for the Cougars. Kicked by Rubin. And it brings us to our first time out on the floor. I can't remember a time where we went to the first time out and there have been no points.
It can only go up from here, right?
That's exactly right. No score between Chicago State and Loyola-Chicago. 4 minutes and 4 seconds in. Neither one on the board yet. Chicago State and Loyola looking for their first baskets of the game. Cougars are 0 for 7 from the field. The Ramblers 0 for 6. The two teams are combined 0 for 9 from 3. So during the timeout, Kate, did you run out and maybe take the lids off the baskets there?
Yeah, I just had to adjust them ever so slightly here.
Yeah.
We're shooting a lot of threes. At this point, there are 0 points on the board. Let's get to the basket. Let's get inside the paint and not settle for these outside jumpers.
So let's see if one of these teams will get on the board on this possession. Chicago State's got it with Ray kicking out to Lionel Larvinae the third. Larvinae back to Ray with 10 to shoot. They go inside. Tankersley driving, scoring in the foul. So finally, we got some points.
And that's what Tankersley is so good at, is slashing, is cutting, getting to the basket. And right here you see he just gets right behind his defender, the backdoor cut, and is able to finish at the rim for the N1.
Well, Justin Moore just picked up his second foul. So now Winsue and Moore both with 2 fouls in the first 4 minutes and 20 seconds of this game.
And that has to be frustrating, not only for Loyola as a whole, but Justin Moore, too, who's coming off of 2 great performances. His back-to-back best performances of the season. You kind of wonder what that does to the psyche of this Illinois team, just not having him on the floor for extended periods in this first half because of that foul trouble.
3-0 Chicago State, the lead on Loyola-Chicago, and now Daewoo Tavares into the game, 0 in white. Amos back on the court for Loyola, making his debut for the Ramblers as well.
See good ball pressure for Chicago State, and that's something that head coach Drew Valentine for Loyola talked to us about, that Chicago State just pressures randomly, and at different times you're not quite aware of when that's coming.
Miss on the three from Loyola, but some help as the rebound was tipped out of bounds accidentally by C.J. Ray. So Loyola will keep it. 20 put up on the shot clock. And the inbounds pass is swatted out of bounds. And I got the basketball. How do you like that?
Hey, good work. That was quick reflexes.
I mean, it would have been better if I caught it, but it would have been tough to my left.
You're getting more action than some of these hoops right now.
I don't think they want me out there shooting, though, I'll tell you that. And now Tavares inside for Miles Rubin, who puts it in off the glass.
And that's great ball movement, great off-ball action there. The little pick and roll Tavares finds the big man down low.
Larvade finding Ray. And now Malik Robinson trying to get around Daewoo Tavares. Nearly turned it over, but it's out of bounds off of Loyola. 13 to shoot for the Cougars.
Good defense there by Tavares to use the baseline as another defender puts his foot on the baseline there and forces the turnover by Chicago State. I'm sorry, not the turnover, the out of bounds versus getting to the bucket.
Ray on the wing for three. That one clangs off the backboard of the rim. Comes down to Daewoo Tavares for the Ramblers.